Brooke, your one of your harnesses has been completed, so it's basically been gone through. All of the, so it's manual application, okay. All of the transmission stuff has been removed from the harness. Everything's been gone through. It's been completely reconfigured. Okay, so you can see we use this. This is actually like a closed roving. It's not. It's a tube system. It's not a wraparound. Okay, so every connector on the harness has been removed. Every terminal's been removed. Every seal's been removed. It's been completely reconfigured, and new terminals, new seals. I think the coil connectors were not replaced because there's never anything wrong with these. Some of your injector connectors were dry rotted, so we've replaced all of those. We've replaced your evap connector over there. I think that this one wasn't. Those were all fine. But yeah, the connectors that have been replaced, you'll find them all marked out on your invoice. Okay, so yeah, let me go through it here from the front. So your harness basically wraps down. Okay, it splits off over here. The one for your crank sensor, okay, goes down. It goes through this hole behind the aircon compressor clutch. A little difficult there to see. It goes behind in that square. It goes all the way down, and it comes out here at the bottom, and it plugs into your crank sensor, okay, and then it forks off, and it goes to your oil pressure switch. In this case, if you've got the big one, that would be a sender unit, so that would be for a gauge rather than a light. Okay, so if you're using either which one, this basically goes through to your client plug for your cluster. Okay, we'll get into that in a moment. Splits off, goes to your aircon compressor clutch. Okay, goes up here, goes to your cam position sensor. Okay, forks out. This goes to your throttle by wire motor. Okay, so the clutch control and whatnot for the actual motor. This one over here is for your accelerator or your throttle position sensor. Okay, and then we forked it out over here for your front, your number one cylinder, injector and coil. Okay, so all of this harness, you can see it's very solid. Okay, we put a piece of stainless steel in the harness to give it like a skeletal structure, if I can put it like that. Yeah, we've put a bracket over there so that you can see there's no flimsiness as far as this harness goes. It's basically built the same as how we do our new harnesses. Okay, your harness was in very, very good shape wiring wise. Okay, not so much good shape as far as what connectors go, but yeah, the wiring itself is very, very fresh on here. So yeah, it's basically a new harness. Okay, yeah, gone through all of that. Just make sure they all come out in order, so there's no confusion there. Just make sure that these don't wrap around each other or whatever. They need to come out nice, and it'll give you a nice finish in the end. Coming out here at the back, you've got a couple of outputs here, right? You've got this big one that goes down, and it goes into this is your starter motor harness. Okay, so we've reconfigured that for you as well. It'll basically just plug straight into this connector, into the back of your harness. You need to put that obviously on first. This is a connector that we give you with a pigtail. This is so that you can get your reverse lights and whatever else you want, coming from the transmission into the cab of the vehicle. So basically what you got here is you got 4 greens. So you got a green with the yellow, green with the black, green with the yellow, green with the white, or plain green and whatever. Okay. Those are run-through cables, so those go through into the cab of the vehicle. You've got a red one over there, which is ignition positive, and you've got a brown. Okay, so it all depends what you want to do. Let's say you're bringing reverse lights, you can have it as a negative trigger or a positive. So as an example, your reverse light's usually a positive, but as an example, let me give it to you as a negative. You'll connect up your negative terminal to the 1 on the reverse light switch, and then bring it back on one of those greens. Okay, some guys want to put speed sensors, whatever you want to use. So that's why you got a negative, positive, and you got 4 return lines going back into the vehicle. Okay, and you got this cable over here that goes to ground. Okay, and make sure that your ground over here is properly tightened up. If you've got paint on your heads or whatever, just make sure that it's off, cleaned up and then bolted on. And then it's usually a good idea to take a secondary ground from the other bolt to your firewall. Okay, I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's what Toyota does. It does make a difference. And then you've got this one over here coming down to your left-hand O2 sensor. Okay, so at the back of the harness, this is obviously the one that we went through just now for your starter motor and knock sensors. This is a noise filter. Okay, that's just to stop any noise on the car radio. And this side exactly the same as the other. You've got another ground over there. You've got your right-hand O2 sensor, and then exactly the same thing here. So yeah, you've got a nice flow. I really like the way these harnesses look with all of this stuff. It's a lot of work, but they really come out nicely. Okay, so yeah, you've got another bracket over there. We'll supply you all the bolts and whatnot for these brackets. Okay, and again, it's got a steel structure in it. So just make sure that that's all, all nicely laid out. Okay, and then this is your temperature gauge for your cluster. This is your EFI water temp sensor. You've got a different one, different connector than what we've got. So I've just put in these two bridge wires just so that when we test run it, I can't plug this in because it's a different format connector. Okay, so this is just bridge wires. This will plug straight into your motor. Okay, so you've got no worries there. This is your accelerator position sensor. Okay, so again, we've put a skeletal structure in here so that it's not flopping around and whatnot. These brackets always break and whatnot. So just put two cable ties in there. Spins around over here. Okay, again solid, and that goes to your airflow meter. Comes down here, and it goes to your alternator. Okay, so all of that is basically built into the system for you. Coming out of here, goes down, goes to a T-junction. Okay, this goes to your fuse block. So your fuse block is configured with a series of 5 relays. You have your EFI and main relays. You've got your fuel control relays. I'll go into that in a moment. You have your start relay. You have a engine light, so that's your mill. Okay, engine light. That terminal over there is just a ground. If you ever want to check any of your fuses are basically ignition. Your fuel, your sensors positive, your injection. So in other words, your coils and your coils and injectors. Okay, and then you've got your throttle by wire, and you've got your ignition. It's all marked on the bottom of your fuse box lid for reference. Okay, so yeah, that's all good. You should have no problems there at all. Running down goes to your ECU. So your ECU has been reflashed. Well, we actually supplying you this. So it's been wired as a 2002 Sequoia. There's all your calibration information. Okay, and it's got a tune on here. Evap delete. It's got all your menu. It's been set for manual. So all of your transmission stuff's been masked out. Yeah, you should have no error codes on here whatsoever. Okay. This 4-pin connector over here, this is the 4 wires, the 4 green wires that go back to your return from your transmission. Okay, so these are your return lines going into the cab for, let it be your reverse light, speed sensor, whatever you're busy doing there. Okay, there you've got a female. Here you've got a male, also 4-pin. This one goes to a patch harness, and I've got a silly little thing over here at the moment. It's just a Bluetooth diagnostics thing. They're very cheap. I don't particularly like them, but so it's just an OBD2. I'll unplug that and plug in a proper scanner. But yeah, that's your OBD2, so that can be just unwound and installed into your dashboard. Okay, wherever you like it. And then this is your connector for your client plug. So here you got your ignition, your start, your fuel, your rev counter, your temperature gauge, your oil light, your charge light, engine light, and aircon compressor clutch. That blue with the white is FC. So that is that is a different fuel control. That's a negative control circuit. Okay, so you'd use that to trigger a standard fuel system in a Toyota. Okay, so let's say you're building this into a 80 series Land Cruiser, you could basically forget about our red fuel positive. Okay, that's only capable of like 10 amps. If you use anything bigger, it'll get hot and mess around. So yeah, we give you this FC terminal, which can be used then to trigger the existing, the existing fuel circuit in the vehicle. Okay. So yeah, we give you a pigtail for this. We give you a pigtail for this little green one over here. And let me go into this with you. So here you have your pack. Okay, so here you got your starter harness. Okay, so that's all been gone through, all your terminals. I think your O2 or your knock sensor connectors, they needed to be replaced. That also, I think you'll see which ones have been replaced. So this is for your starter motor solenoid. Okay, so here you have your packet with your OBD2 connector that's going to plug into your harness. We'll take that out. This is your client plug. So this is the one that's going to do the actual running of the motor and your instrument cluster. So all your park, reverse, neutral, drive, so on and so forth. This is your pigtail that will go plug into the back of the motor. So this will be used for your reverse lights and speed sensor or whatever else you want to run back into the vehicle. Okay. And this is your 4-pin connector for the one that goes into the vehicle. So this is the return line. Okay. And then we give you so this is an airflow meter housing that you can just spray this whatever color you want. Okay, this one just happened to come out, in purple, but it's the correct inside diameter. It is designed for the non-VVT-i first generation 2UZ. Okay, so that is basically it. I will quickly, what I'll do is I'm going to quickly put on the airbox and then we'll do a test run and DTC scan and make sure that everything is set up according to your requirements. Brooke, okay, so I've put on the air intake tube, plugged in the airflow meter. Just make sure you see on the tube over here you've got a port coming out of the back here. This usually has a pipe that goes to this port on your right hand valve bank. Make sure that is connected. If you're using an aftermarket pipe, it's not a problem, but this tube still needs to be connected between your airflow meter and your throttle body. The air that gets pulled through that needs to be calculated by the airflow meter because it's going to end up going into the engine, okay, through this PCV valve. So this is usually connected to the throttle body up. Where is it on this one? It goes up and it goes into the throttle body. This is actually the wrong throttle body on this motor. Not the wrong one, it's the right one for yours, but this used to be a 6-pin throttle body, so it doesn't have the connector for it. But you'll find this goes to your plenum chamber. Okay. It's very important that is connected. If it's not, it'll gum up carbonate the rest of your motor. So yeah, so here is the DTC scan. So there's all of the info as far as it's North American, Sequoia, TZ 2002. Okay, and we'll quickly do a scan here. I'm not even going to do that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test run her. So we're going to start her so that it does log any codes if necessary. We'll start by just priming the fuel. I haven't started this yet, so excuse my regulator. Yeah. So ignition and probably got air and whatnot in the intake. can't let her run very long because I don't have a whole cooling system on here and whatnot. But like you can see, there are no DCCs, okay, in the stored in the system. If there were something wrong, it would come out there. So yeah, she should run great for you. They're very nice motors. So yours, I recall you saying that it came out of a Toyota training center. I've done a couple of the other ones as well that came out of that center, and I think I mentioned to you prior they those motors had obviously been standing for a bit of time. This isn't going to work because I've switched off the ignition. Let me just switch it back on again. So yeah, just so the trouble is that these motors were standing for a while. So your fuel rails, you're going to need to take out your injectors and give them a cleaning. Okay, no need to replace them. Just clean them up, and yeah, just make sure that none of them are dried. Okay, and then you should be all good. There should be nothing else really wrong there. So this was failed because of the ignition was off. Let's just, ignition's back on now, so there we go. Read fault codes. And there's no DTC. So yeah, your transmission's been deleted, evap's been deleted. You've got a tune on this ECU, so that'll give you better throttle response, and yeah, she's gonna be real nice. Let me know what you think. We nearly completed with your second one, and we'll obviously do another video on that one once it has been completed.